All right, the Dodge 230 cubic inch engine is back from the machine shop. Unfortunately, we have a little bit of bad news. If you've seen one of the previous videos where I tore down that engine, I think it was 2 or 3 videos back in the play. I'll link a description in the, put a link in the description below if anybody wants to check that out. But anyway, the issue we're having is it has a cracked block from here to here and another crack right here. So what I did is I jumped on the marketplace and I did come across another engine. This is a 218 out of a 1954 Plymouth car. The guy actually took it out of a pickup truck, so he just assumed it was a truck engine. But when you run the numbers, it's a P25, which tells you it's out of a car, 1954. So the plan today is to pull the head off of this, drain the oil if there is any, and let's see how bad this is. All right, first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take off the mount for the coil. It also organizes your spark plug wires. So let's get that out of the way. It shouldn't really take too long to get this head off because I don't have to take off. And that's the beauty of a flathead engine, is you don't have to take off carburetors or anything like that. Pretty much this will just pop right up. Now this engine, I actually found it on Facebook within a day or two from when I found out that engine was, the block over there was cracked. And I was quite surprised, to be honest with you. The guy that had it has a 1954 Dodge truck, and he's putting in a 440. Now, it actually looked like a pretty nice job. It wasn't finished when I was over there picking up the engine, but initially he was asking $950 for this, but it also came with a transmission. And he advertised it as a truck engine. So I had him give me the numbers on it, and I ran it, found out it was out of a car. So, not that it really mattered to me, to be honest with you, because the other engine wasn't original. But I was able to, oh, that one just broke off. I was able to talk him down on price, and I actually picked up this engine, a 4-speed transmission, and a couple other various parts for $200. So I figured, definitely worth the risk. So it does turn over a little bit, although I never turned it over fully. So I'm hoping we're not really going to have major issues in there. Perfect idea, clean everything up, put it back together and run it. This truck is not a concourse restoration. Obviously, it's a backyard build, as I've said many times. So don't yell at me. If we find something that is wrong with it, we'll address it. So let's get this head off. So it'll be interesting. See what happens with her. But the transmission, I want to keep the, I really want to keep the 3 on the tree instead of putting that 4-speed in. I don't know, what's your thoughts on that? I know a lot of you guys probably be swapping with a V8, huh? But I'm just not there. It's not my goal. All right, I want to snap the rest of these loose, and I'll get back to you soon as I'm ready to hit it with the impact and pull them out and get that head off. All right, all the head bolts are broken loose, so I'm not even going to worry about putting a impact socket on it, because I shouldn't need it. This last one up here, I might actually have to use a wrench on that. I don't know. Yeah, I can get on it. Wasn't sure if I would. All right. Take my chock full of nuts coffee can. It's getting a little hard to find tin cans anymore. Most of them are plastic, but I find it chock full of nuts or tin, and there's another one. That's what most of the guys at work buy. And get all these head bolts in there. Some of these I notice have washers on them. The majority of them don't. You know what? That might have been, those two might have been where they at one point hooked a chain to it to lift it. So now we're getting ready for the big reveal time here in a second. Get my mallet. Give her a couple whacks. All right, and I'm gonna zoom you in and let's take a peek and see if we're good to go or if we got a lot of problems. I am getting a little nervous right about now because I would love nothing more than to just clean this up and get her running, but we're about to find out. Let's give her a try. Moment of truth. What do you guys thinking's under here? A mess like the 230 block back over here we pulled the head, or are we going to be considerably nicer? I so hope it's going to be a lot nicer. So stop wasting time, take a peek. Oh, that don't look bad. That doesn't look bad at all. And I tell you, that does not. First glance, it looks good. It really does. I'm happy. Maybe a little scar right down there. This one I see cross hatching in. I see cross hatching in all of it. I don't know if that shows up on the camera. There's just like a little bit of, get my hands in there. I don't feel nothing. I think we're good to go. There is really hatch marks in there still. What's going on over here? It might just be a stain. A little fluid film down in there. I want to try to rotate this over. Watch the heads. Watch the heads, yeah. I think we're going to watch the heads, but take a look at the valves going up and down. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Look at that one. There it goes. One more valve is watching it go up. I think we're good to go. I really do. I really do think we're good to go. I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. I am going to flip it over. I do want to flip it over and, well, after I drain the oil out, if there's any in it, flip it over and pull the pan off, take a look down in there. But I'm wondering if this was rebuilt, because it's odd that I'm still seeing cross hatches in something this old. But I want to get the, let me get that down there. I'll show you what I was talking about. Excuse me. And I don't know if you look right in there. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but there's a stain. I can't feel it at all with my finger, so I'm not going to worry about that at all. I think it's good. I'm pretty sure the cross hatching doesn't show up for you either. But let me get you set up again, and I want to drain this oil out, and then we'll flip it over and take the pan off and go from there. See what we got. All right. Again, back to the 230. We had a whole lot of water come out with no spark plugs. Is not looking good at all. I got a dipstick right here by me and I never even looked in it. Well, it's all oil, so that's good. Doesn't look like much, though. Looks like she might have been a little low. So I'm going to sit here, I'm going to let this drain out for a little while and get the plug back in, turn it upside down, and we're going to get the pan off. Alright guys, I got my little speed wrench out. I'm going to go ahead and zip these oil pan bolts off, and this time, I know the last time I said a chock full of nuts, this time I have a family size classic roast ground coffee can, which is also tin. I don't think I've seen that before. But anyway, let's get this torn apart and have to order up some new gaskets. Yeah, guess that's a good thing. That pan's down there, make it a little easier to find. You know, they made these flathead 6-cylinder engines, I think, up until early 70s. They used them in industrial engines. So there is still parts for them. I mean, it's not the 218, but still. Guy that got it from, his truck, he actually had another shop start the job. They pulled the motor out and the tranny out, and then it sat in the bed of the truck for a while. I don't know exactly how long, but it was long enough that he got mad and took it back, took it to another shop. But apparently the other shop, they lost his flywheel, his bell housing, clutch, and everything. Fortunately, I have one off of that over there, the 230 engine. So that's not going to be an issue. So let me get my mallet and we'll go take a peek what's inside here. I'm going to check my oil pan because the front mount here is different. His is a 54. If it was redesigned, I don't know, but it actually doesn't fit to my 53. Mine's a B3B. His would not be, not in 54. But I do have the other one over there. It'll mount right up here, so I'm not worried about that. And the oil pan, I want to compare it to the old oil pan to make sure, you know, depending on the application, you know, sometimes they change them, so I want to make sure it's the same. All right, let's see what we got under here now. And this one looks, yeah, there is sludge in here, but it ain't near as bad as what it was. Now, that was my oil dipstick that fell out, wasn't it? I was trying to think what was in there that would fall out, and there shouldn't be. But it's only a dipstick falling out the tube. All right, let me get you a closer look in here. All right, so a couple little things I do see in here. The pickup in the housing, it has some junk in it. I don't think it's plugged up. I don't think it's starving for fuel. Yeah, fuel, oil, I mean. Get washed with that. So I'm gonna have to take that out, get that cleaned up. And I am hoping, see, you got some goo here, look at this. And this can actually be common in some of these old engines because they have a downdraft tube. If you look at this hole here in the block, right here, that's a downdraft tube that goes in there, and that any blow by through the pistons and everything escapes through that. But as the car is idling, it doesn't. Oh, that's metal. Oh, that ain't good. What's this? All right, we got a problem, and I don't know what it's from. So that is metal. And that metal should not be in there. That's a pretty thick piece of metal too. It's not a rod. I don't think it's off of a rod. It's too thick to be a bearing. Tight, 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 tight. That's tight. That cap's tight. That's no movement in there. No movement, no movement. So it doesn't appear to be a rod. So what is this? All right. Let me, I'm going to clean this up real quick, take a look, see what it is. Get the goo off of it. It's laminated. See that? It's laminated there. Anybody know what that is? What could that possibly have come from? And this is exactly why I told the guy I'm not paying $950 for the engine. I only gave him $200. Because if this is something I can't salvage, I don't even know what this is from. I wonder if it's from the timing chain. No, because I can't get back there. That has an oil tube that goes up here. It can't be from the timing gear. It's some kind of arm off of something. But what? All right, mystery part. Anybody knows what it is, please put a comment down below. So two things that got me concerned now. That's the water left in the block. I mean, there wasn't much there, but there was no signs of antifreeze. How long has it been there? I don't know. And now that part that was laying right up on top here. So apparently it rode in the bottom of the oil pan for a while, and then when I flipped it up, it's when it dropped and laid up there. But I have no idea what that's from. I don't recognize it. All right, guys, enough rambling on. Okay, I found out where our mystery piece of metal came from inside the engine, but I'm not going to tell you right now because I would like for you guys to take a guess to see if you can find out, or you know, where this little piece of mystery metal came from. I'll give you a hint. It did come from inside the engine. It is laminated. I'll throw a picture up, closer picture. So just put in the comments what you think it is, and unfortunately for you, I'll tell you in the next video after this. So that does give me quite a bit of relief. That's another little hint for you. It's nothing major, not really a problem for me at all. So I'm just back down to not liking the water that was in the block. Only concern. So I am actually getting to be very excited about this engine. The grime, the oil, the grit in there doesn't bother me. I expected it actually to be quite worse than what it is. So I'm just going to take a little time, get all that cleaned up, and all the bearings, the rods, everything seems tight. It doesn't seem at all that there's a spun bearing or anything. And the fact that the cylinder still had the cross hatching in it, I'm really not going to mess with it. I'm just going to clean it up, and I'm going to run it like it is. And could it bite me in the rear down the road? Yeah, sure it is. But you got to remember, this is not a truck that's being driven every day either. It's a backyard budget build. I wanted to make it look as nice as I can make it within those constraints. And that's what we're going to push forward with right now. So what's your thoughts on that? Let me know. Meanwhile, I want to get this engine cleaned up. I want to get the new gaskets ordered. It does need some freeze out plugs. There's one back here in the back. I don't know if you can see it because I can't see what you're looking at this time. So I'm going to order up some freeze plugs, gasket set, head gasket, get everything cleaned up. I will check the valve lash in the valves, but honestly, I'm not going to really mess with it too much. So I'm not sure if I want to add more to this video when the parts come in, or do another part separate. So if this is the end of the video you're watching, then you know I decided to do 2 parts. So if that is the case, I'll talk to you later.